How's it going, guys? My name's Will from Ghosthack. I'm starting out this video in a little bit of a bad mood already because I just recorded for like 2 hours and realized that I was neither recording my screen nor my computer audio. So today I'm gonna do a sound design video. It's actually been a minute since I've done one of those. It's gonna be like a sound design tutorial. And recently I did a live stream on the Ghosthack channel. We live stream every Sunday, and I made a bass house track. Now, fair warning, there's gonna be a little bit of cursing in this video if that bothers you. I don't know if it's gonna bother anyone, but here is basically the drop that I created. It's not perfect, but I really like it, and I want to show you a specific sound that I was able to make.
Anyway, fuck it. I want to have some fun. Anyway.
And the sound that I'm going to be showing you is the sound I created that sounds like a dolphin. Listen to this and tell me that this does not sound like a dolphin. That's a dolphin. That's like an electronic dolphin right there. And this is really funny because it wasn't even hard to make. It just took a few different layers. You don't even technically need this one. Yeah, that's enough. Or is that a seal? No, that's a dolphin. I'm not going crazy. That's a dolphin. So I'm basically going to show you how I made that sound. It started its life as a Vital preset, which Vital is a sick synth. It's free, by the way. If you don't have Vital, you should get that. It does have a little bit of processing, meaning basically my Thicc Rack. There's a tutorial for the Thicc Rack in the description below, but I'm gonna show you a little bit of that here as well. It's just one oscillator called Water Razor, right? I think this is just a default. Yeah, there it is. It's in the stock Vital wavetables. And I'm doing just a few different modulations. There's actually not that much going on. There's a few LFOs just modulating a little bit of stuff here, and only a couple of effects. So I have all the effects turned off. This is what it sounds like. Oh, that's very quiet. I might boost that up like in the video editing process. So here's what we start with. We start with LFO 1, which looks like this. It's just on envelope mode, and that's like moving the wavetable position. So we get a little bit of a kind of like just the start of the sound has a little more accent. Next in LFO 2, this is kind of where the main motion is going on, where it's on trigger 1/16, so it's going back and forth pretty fast. That's controlling the level and just a little bit of the wavetable position. Next up is LFO 3, where it's on 1/4 and it's just falling down. That's mainly controlling a little bit of the pitch and also just a little bit of the wavetable position. When you just slightly tweak this wavetable in a bunch of different ways, it'll make the bass sound a little more like it's alive, but most of the tonality is just coming from the wavetable itself, if I'm being honest. So all of that modulation just kind of gives the thing more life, right? And when we go into the effects, the first thing I did was add a little bit of a flanger. You can see the settings that I'm using here. And the main reason I have that is to add a little bit of stereo. Because the depth is up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So it's slightly different for the left and the right, which gives the sound a little more width. And you can also see I'm modulating the feedback here with LFO 2 up and down. So that's kind of what that flanger is doing. Next, I added a little bit of just soft clip distortion. Nothing complicated here, just general soft clipping. To add a little bit of bite. And this is going into this effects chain here where I added my Thicc Rack. Again, a full tutorial for this is linked in the description below, but I have a Maximus. With a little bit of compression where I'm slamming the lows, slamming the mids, I'm slamming everything here, and I'm bringing that up, especially in the low region, because the OTT that we added next kind of took down the lows. And that really brought up all those mid and high frequencies, made it nice and crispy. Again, this is still very quiet, but I'm probably bringing it up in post. It's gonna get louder. We have the Vocodex, which makes a nice thick, makes it sound nice and thick. Yeah, now we're getting a little bit more volume here, and it's becoming nice and juicy. And you can see I have just about 20 bands. I made them nice and wide. I have minimum times on and I brought all this down. So it's not distorting, but the Vocodex is acting very quickly. These are the settings I use. I just like to use these kind of settings on basses because I think they sound pretty good most of the time. I also threw a disperser on here, which makes it sound a little more lasery. FL Studio actually does have their own disperser. If you go into Patcher, there should be a preset here. Yeah, disperser right here. So if you don't own disperser, this could totally do the job. Next, an EQ. Took out that bass, brought down some of the annoying high frequencies. Then I added a Maximus, a little more compression. There we go, and now it's brought up to a more acceptable volume and we controlled those high peaks. A patcher, which is basically, oh yeah, this is the patcher that I use in my Thicc Rack. And it's basically taking the mid, the high, and the low end and running them all through a couple of soft clippers doing this. Gives it a lot more power. And then ending with a little bit of a wave shaper. Just to clip that top and just give it a little bit of distortion. So that sounds pretty good, and it's run through the sidechain. Next up, what I added, this isn't actually necessary, but I added this Foley sound right here. Yeah, that's actually a door recording. It's a door sound from the Ghosthack Ultimate Foley Sounds 2. But basically what I did is I threw basically like the same Thicc Rack on it like I just showed you, but I made some changes. First off, I added SerumFX and I used the filter to create like a volume going back and forth, like a volume going up and down. Like that. There's the OTT, the Vocodex, the same stuff that I just showed you. I EQ'd it a little bit differently. Made sure to take down that low end. And I also added a little bit of Temper, which is a free distortion plugin. It's kind of scuffed if I'm being honest, but it gives some cool harmonics. And I also made sure that it was nice and stereo. It just gives a good, like, strong layer to this sound. It just makes it sound more full and rich. And then also at the bottom here, I added none other than the Destroy Me with Lasers. Why did I say destroy me? It's destroy them with lasers. Which is so simple. Like basically I have bright white noise and I have this filter, a low pass filter with a huge amount of resonance. Because you can see how it's going up and down with this thing right here. And then in the effects section, throw a crap load of distortion. Also, it's going through an effect chain where I'm taking off the low end and some of the crispy high end. I say effect chain, it's just an EQ. But next up, multi-band, compress that shit. There you go. You love to hear it. And throw on a final EQ. Just so there's a gap here, because I wanted to make the Destroy Them with Lasers sound. So that kind of just cuts the volume on the second bit. And then just layer that in strategically. Like that. And then when it layers together, it makes the Dolphin. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot a vital step. I forgot a vital step. This macro right here was off. There we go. Now it sounds a little bit better. Basically, this macro was in vital. Man, I almost forgot. This macro was in vital. And what this macro did was it just subtly changed the wavetable position. And this subtle change is actually really important. It's the difference between this and this. It's just a little bit of a change there. So that's what I did to kind of layer together and create this Dolphin sound. And altogether, I think it actually works pretty well in the track. But this was my tutorial on that sound. Links to the Vital patch and the Serum patch can be found in the description below. Keep in mind, you will have to kind of recreate the effect chains, but fortunately, the effect chain for both of these things is pretty much the same, so it won't be too hard to kind of replicate them once you've done one of them. Or, you know, you don't have to do exactly what I did. You could use your own fat rack. You know, basically the sounds that I used in here primarily come from the plugin. They don't necessarily just come from the effects chain, so it's not as important that that be exactly the same. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these sound design tutorials, then hit the like, also hit subscribe for more music production videos, and I will see you in the next one. Happy producing.